Jesus' call throughout the centuries was, "Follow me." 12 brave souls, called the apostles, answered that call in a radical way. In our gospel, we find Jesus starting to collect the apostles by making 4 fishermen into fishers of men. Let's meet these 12 and imitate them. For Pope St. John Paul II said, "We were given a call to follow the paths of the gospel in the direction of a better world." We are being asked by Jesus to participate in an ongoing struggle for the world's soul by proposing to the world, "You are far, far greater than you imagine." We start with the leader of the apostles. His original name was Simon, but Jesus changed it to Cephas, meaning rock, and translated as Peter. A change in name indicates a change in mission. Calling Peter a rock was a bit of a joke, for Peter was impulsive, fickle, and unreliable at first, but grew over time into the first pope. He was boastful, for he said he would never abandon the Lord, but did during the trial. Peter was impulsive, for he drew his sword at Jesus' arrest and cut off a slave's ear. Peter also attempted to walk on water, but got scared. He knew his unworthiness after Jesus boarded his boat, and Peter said, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." In the end, he went to Rome to spread the gospel and was crucified around 64 AD on an upside-down cross, for he said that he was not worthy to die right side up as Jesus did. Andrew was Peter's brother and a disciple of John the Baptist. He saw Jesus, the Lamb of God, and ran to evangelize his brother. He also brought the boy with the 5 loaves and 2 fishes to Jesus to multiply. He was a missionary to the modern-day Ukraine, at Russia, and Greece. He was crucified on an X-shaped cross in Greece around 70 AD. James and John were brothers and worked for their father Zebedee. They were nicknamed by Christ as the sons of thunder, after they wanted to rain down fire on a town that would not accept the gospel message. Their mother, Salome, had high ambitions for them, boldly asking Jesus that they sit on his right and left in his kingdom. She was later humbled and knelt at the foot of the cross. John was the beloved disciple, whom Jesus entrusted his mother Mary. John cared for Mary in Ephesus, Turkey, until her assumption into heaven. John wrote a gospel, the book of Revelation, and 3 letters. He was the only apostle not martyred. James was called the Greater, because he was part of Jesus' inner circle, along with Peter and John, and to distinguish him from James, the son of Alphaeus, who is also called James the Lesser. James the Lesser was the head of the church in Jerusalem, where he was martyred. James the Lesser and Jude were relatives of Jesus. They were probably sons of Cleopas, who was married to Mary's sister. Judas was also called Thaddeus, to distinguish him from Judas Iscariot, who sold out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Matthew, also called Levi, was a tax collector. He sold his countrymen out and collected taxes for Rome. He was wealthy, but gave it all up when Christ called. His gospel showed he rediscovered his love for his country and Jewish heritage. Matthew preached in Judea, Persia, and Ethiopia before being slayed by a sword. Simon the Zealot was part of a band of patriots that zealously wanted to overthrow the Roman rule. Imagine how he got along with Matthew, the Roman traitor, at first. Philip came from Bethsaida, like Andrew and Peter. Philip asked Jesus at the Last Supper to show him God the Father. Philip probably brought the gospel to western Turkey. He also evangelized Bartholomew or Nathanael. Jesus amazed Nathanael by first telling him that he saw him under the fig tree, and then sharing with him that he was the connection between heaven and earth. Nathanael was a missionary to Persia, India, Russia, and then Armenia, where he was filleted. Thomas, also called Didymus, meaning twin, we remember as not showing up when the risen Christ appeared in the locked upper room. He later believed when Jesus appeared a second time and showed his glorious wounds to Thomas. He was a missionary to Iran and then India, where he was martyred. Jesus chose 12 apostles because the number is important in biblical history. There were 12 tribes of Israel, 12 spies that explored the Promised Land, 12 patriarchs, 12 stones in the breastplate of the high priest, and 12 foundations of the church in the book of Revelation. The question is, what mission is he calling you for? St. John Henry Newman said, God knows me and calls me by my name. God has created me to do him some definite service. He has committed some work to me, which he has not committed to another. I have my mission. Somehow I am necessary for his purposes. I am a link in a chain. Let me be thy blind instrument. I ask not to see. I ask not to know. I ask simply to be used.